Be'ez Hashem, Parshas Chukas Bolok in Chutz La'aretz, Parshas Bolok in Eretz Yisrael. The Mishnah says in the end of Masechtes Kinim, Sheziknei Torah, elderly people that they learn Torah all their life, Kol Zman Shemaskinim, Daiton Misyasheves Aleim. The older they get, it actually there's a bigger, stronger Yeshua Das, and they understand things deeper. They keep on growing. So the Rambam explains that why is that? It's not only because they have experience of life, people that went through so much, their perspective is so different. They have seen things, been there, in so many different alleys, so many different situations in life. The Rambam says it's more than that. It's not only that. It's because Bizman ziknosam v'seivosam, that means when they get older, chulshas gufam, that means the body is weaker. So that's a plus. We're used to that. Listen, you always have pros and cons. So a person that's older, so the zikna means more chachma, but then on the other hand, every stage in life has its nisyonis. So you have a different nisyon. So you have to run to the doctor, and the walk is not the same, and everything. The body is weaker. So he said, no, that is a direct result of that. There's more chokhmah. Tarba chokhmasam v'ischazik sichlam, and they reach a bigger darga of shleimus.
Still waiting for that to happen.
It happens.
But a young person who's machlish his goof isn't suddenly going to get married.
So let's understand this Rambam. Let's learn this Rambam. It's a very important Rambam. It's more important, this Rambam. Why would it be that way, that if the body is weaker, it's a siba, it's a reason that there should be more chokhmah and more seichel? I mean, experience we know is a reason. We can understand, but this is like another reason. So, to understand that, it really touches big yesodus of emunah and bitochen and betzim of the tachlis of a person in this world. The tachlis of a person in this world. We come to a world of gashmias, physical. So we tend to feel that the bigger and the stronger grip we have in the material world, we're more successful. So even if a person understands that Torah is important, the mitzvah is important, and chesed, and whatever it is, they try to really invest their days and their energy to do good things, but they won't feel like the main goal in life, in chapping around, let's say in Olam Hazeh, is feelings and understanding. That comes along. It's very good if a person sometimes has a aliyah, or sometimes maybe he felt Shabbos or Yontif, he felt elevated, he felt something, but that's like extra credit. Many people, if you speak to them about madregas, they call it, that they should be a stronger Baal Bitochen, and they should feel a Hava and Yirat Rebbeinu Shalom. Many people, their feelings about it is they think, listen, I wish I would be a simple Jew. You want to talk to me about bigger madregas? Halavai. If I get to it, it's good. If not, it's also good. Because it's like, the main thing is to be able to, if a checklist, it means I did this many mitzvahs, this many, I learned this many mesechtes. But the previous year we started learning that the journey of life is in order to gain kelim with what to be connected with in Olam Haba. In the Emes world, the Nitzchi is the world of Olam Haba, there's nothing physical there. Nothing. Everything is about connecting to the Rebbeinu Shalom and what the person acquired when he was here in this world. Ahava, Yira, Bitochen, Amunah, it's all about that. Mamash, all about that. So, when a person in this world is connected to Gashmias, even in a good way, even if it's in a good way, they're not in a situation that they could be prepared, that they could they didn't, let's call it like that, they didn't develop the tools, they didn't develop the enough refined feelings that's needed in Olam Haba. In this world, when you disconnect a little bit from the physical world, you're giving place, you're giving yourself the opportunity to be able to connect just with Chokhmah and Das, only with feelings, because you don't have anything else. When the Rambam is saying that the body is weaker, it's a reason that the Chokhmah is Nisraba. It's not different than when a person is very Megushim. So there's like the Sforim explain, it's like water and oil. Like if there's more Gashmias, there's less Ruchnias. There's less Gashmias, there's place for more Ruchnias. Many people experience the difference between being a Chutz La'aretz and living in Eretz Yisrael. Sometimes people would say it in a one-liner. They would say, okay, so how is it? What's the difference between Eretz Yisrael and different places? Aren't there fine people? And there are very fine people in Chutz La'aretz all over the place. But to say it in one line, a bit less Gashmias and a bit more Ruchnis. Very simple. It's mamish simple. There's always Bechira, there's always Nisyonis, of course. But there's a certain, the simplicity, the being less connected to Gashmias allows the person to grow because there's place for it. The Neshama could take over. So the Rambam's example is one example. Because the mind of a person after so many years of studying Torah and Amunah and davening, and now food, it's not the same anymore. Even COVID and all those things, it's not toifus mokum. A person that's young is so invested, trying to make it. So like one day they're going to be in the top. When you're not anymore trying to get there, so you could like, with the Gewalt Yishuv Hadas, you could serve the Rebbeinu Shalom and whatever, with just moyach and leiv and everything that's needed for Avodas Hashem. Now, Zikna and Seva, the person is in the older years, is not the only example. It's just the Rambam gives one. It's like a teaser to get you thinking how that works. But in any mahalach, any reason, any form that a person feels disconnected from Olam Hazeh, in that same second, they know that they have now opportunity. Right now I have opportunity because I don't know what to hold on to. And if that's the case, I could try to hold on to the Rebbeinu Shalom without a grip. Without a Gashmi is the grip. That's the pintle of this shir.
That every day he says you should be Avodah Hashem as if this was the last day. On the last day of your life, you won't be concerned about
the last day. When a person knows it's the last day of his life, they don't have any grip in Olam Hazeh. Even Torah and mitzvahs is a certain grip. Hashem knew that we're down there in Olam Hazeh, so we need to have a grip. So the Rebbeinu Hashem gives us a mitzvah to hold on to, something physical, something put on tefillin. The idea of tefillin is to remember Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, to get connected that the Rebbeinu Hashem could take you out of Mitzrayim, out of the mitzarim that a person has, all the hardships. But the idea is that in Olam Haba, the Rebbeinu Hashem puts on tefillin without having physical tefillin. So when a person gets older, and let's say they don't have the ability now to learn like they used to, or they don't have the koyach to do chesed like they used to, it's not falling apart. The guf is leaving go. That's the idea. The concept, if you look in a Gashmistic perspective, it looks like, isn't it a shame that finally when a person makes it, it has to start going downhill? It makes no sense. The Rebbeinu Hashem created such a beautiful bria, colors and chokhmah. There's such beautiful things. Now, why does a person's life has to end so sad? You couldn't come up with a better mahalach? Okay, I understand. We came on a journey, and afterwards a person goes on. Versteh. But why does it have to finish going to the doctor, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and this is... everything's like until the light just closed and you know what, just forget about it. Chaval. Let's make a Suda. Let's thank the Rebbeinu. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Closure. Let's prove it on such a more exciting oifen. It is exciting in a certain. If you look at it that way, it's always the goof is sad, but the person is leaving go of the grip of Olam Hazeh, and it goes with all the kinyonim until they don't need anymore the grip of Olam Hazeh. The previous parsha or parsha it's now Chotzot Chukas, there's bariches how Aaron HaKohen this slowly took off the begodim, another, and he went. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, I wish I could leave this road, I could separate from it with the same mahalach like Aaron HaKohen. I wish. Because it was so gorgeous, the Thresh Shlomo says, because it was zero opposition from Aaron HaKohen. Zero. He was ready to go weiter. I don't need any more to have Torah mitzvahs on this mahalach. I'm ready to now have the dveikus and the Rebbeinu Shloim without all these tools. Now we need to work hard to be able to achieve such a moyach, such a yishuv hadas. It's a life of a person. That's why a person is given the whole life. A lot of tzaddikim said a person prepares their whole life. They're preparing to be able to hand over the neshama to Rebbeinu Shloim without being zachmit naged, without opposition, without fighting it. Not an easy task. B'chlal. But throughout life, every time a person has yisurim and they have to leave go of something. It's very hard. You could watch people when they have to marry off the first, especially mothers if it's a daughter first, and they have to leave go. They were so close. Some people, it's fascinating. If you watch the nefesh, what happens? Some people, they're fighting every shidduch, and deep down, they don't want to leave go. Because it's mine. I'm not asking to give my daughter away. And that's it. I invested 20, and then she just, somebody just walks off with it. It's fascinating, but that's what it is. And it's in every aspect in life. Throughout the tachanot, the masois in life, a person has to learn. They're developing that they don't have a grip on anything, and instead of that, not that life is horrible, not that life has nothing, that's life. Don't get too connected to anything because one day it could just all blow up in your face. It's the opposite. It's the mamash opposite. The person is realizing that Hashem is training me, slowly helping me develop a tainug, develop relationship with Rebbeinu Shloim that's not built on a physical grip. A person must develop that. It's a must to be able to connect to Rebbeinu Shloim, and I don't even have with what. There's a famous marshal. Unfortunately, it's not only a marshal. Reb Shlomo Karliner and many tzaddikim explain that a person that never developed a Tam and Shabbos, even if they kept Shabbos, if they're going to come to Olam Haba and they have no idea the taste, they don't know what it means, that feeling of relationship with the Rebbeinu Shloim, singing shiras v'seshbachos, just this my neshama and the Rebbeinu Shloim, nishmas kol chai. They never really did it. They just everything was technical. They're going to come on Olam Haba and they're not going to feel anything. And then he says, and then the guy is going to say, "This is Olam Haba." I thought they told me that this is Olam Ha'emes. That's what he says. It's not an Olam Ha'emes. It's not even interesting. When you buy a little kid a prize and he says, "That's the prize," he gets so mad. You fooled me. And it's going to be so painful because they never developed the feelings of relationship with Rebbeinu Shloim. They didn't. They went through all the technical zachen, but they never knew what it is. They never figured it out. There's one girsa I saw from tzaddikim that they're going to give this. They're going to tell him, you know what? We're going to give you something that you enjoy, and they're going to give him the whip for the horses, and they're going to say, you know what you did a whole life, you could continue doing that. If you enjoy that, no problem. We're going to set you in a separate room, and we're going to give you the horses. You're going to be able to do as to your heart's delight. We're going to give it to you as much as you want. Many Bali Musa talk about it because they also talk about the other opposite, that people that developed they developed a rotzen for klola, for not good things. Even when they get up there, they can't disconnect from that not good habit. That's why the Gemara says in Gittin, the Agarate that's learned on Tisha B'Av, that Bilam told Unkelus Ageh, he said he continued doing up there what he was doing down here. That's the concept. So that's why Hashem in this world is teaching the person that success is not what it looks like. The around and around success in this world, even when it's ruchnizik success. He made it Rosh Hashiva, the biggest yeshiva, finished X amount of Masechtas. He did it. He has beautiful family. This is not cash when you come up to that world. It's not, you can't. It's not tangible there. Here, you're looking for something that's like you could hold on to, but there it's the opposite. There it is. How much were you matzliach in this world to have a relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom and a feeling towards Hashem that you couldn't hold on to anything?
Is that why it's the Olam Hafach?
It's one of the reasons why it's Olam Hafach for those people that the dafka want to live in a sheker in this world. But that's why it's so important to learn it again and again. A person could sometimes realize opportunity that Rebbeinu Shalom gave him, and he could understand an experience that he went through and give it a new name. I thought I was going through Gehenna, while I didn't chap that. How do you say at the same time? Simultaneously. That means at the same time, two things were happening. Exactly at the same time. It's true. Maybe my mind was more focused at the Gehenna part that I'm going through. It was painful, very painful. But at the same exact time, what was happening is you shut the tinor of getting Shefa on the regular way, and you were forced to try to breathe and live on support of the Rebbeinu Shalom himself, because you didn't have any other mahalach. You were on life support from the Rebbeinu Shalom. To say this concept a little bit deeper, Hashem, which is giving us and being mashpia, shefa, abundant, that's coming to us, it's going through madregas. You could call it, if you look at it in Mokum, it looks like it's going through a journey of miles, but really it's dargis. But it's coming from a Mokum, it's very, very, very ruchniistic, very holy, very not tangible when you look at it in a gashmitic perspective. And it's coming in all the way to us, the shefa. Until Hashem is giving a person their needs, it could turn into bread and eggs, whatever you need. If it's breakfast, if right now what you need is a car, so it's going to turn it until you have a car and a house and keys and whatever you need, children, parnasa. Now what happens is that when Rebbeinu Shalom takes away something of a person in any form, if it's called Yisurim or something ended, like an era finished and now they have to look for something new, whatever it is, what Hashem did is it's like He took away the training wheels. It's forcing you to have bitochen in the Rebbeinu Shalom without the chelik from having the grip. What that means is not that Hashem is now holding back shefa from you. He's keeping it at a higher darga, which is forcing you to jump up. You know what they do in the zoo to those elephants? They keep it high and they have those. They jump up to catch the shefa. It's like such a mahalach. It means till now you were in a comfort zone, and Hashem was giving you shefa. You understood what's happening. You were getting your need. Thank you, Hashem. It was good. Baruch Hashem. You realize Hashem is giving it to you. Hashem didn't take it away. He forced you to climb and realize it and connect to it, and you don't even have. You can't even touch it. That's called training for Olam Haba. That's exactly. There's nothing else in Olam Haba. You have to know that there isn't anything else in Olam Haba. So if you want to be part of it, enjoy it, develop. When it happens to you, that's what the Rambam meant. When it's ziknosam v'sevosam, and you can't hold on to any success stories and whatever. It's just about I'm serving the Rebbeinu Shalom with Amunah, plain Amunah. That you now you're really building Kalim for the Mahaber.
I don't know if it was the Balatani said that Hashem created Yesh to Ayin, and we have to Ayin to Yesh, and we have to go from the Yesh.
Yes, that's the Nakuda. Kama Tzadikim, that they talk about this concept, that the Rebbeinu Shalom created from Ayin Yesh, it turned from Ayin to Yesh, and our arbeit is from Yesh to Ayin. Mamash this Yisod. And Hashem is helping us, holding our hand. We just have to be able to say, oh, that's what's happening. To be able to pinpoint, because it's happening anyways. Because when the Eibush is Melamed Torah L'Amo Yisrael, he means our good, and he's taking us there. And once again, I'm just going to say it again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest horror story. It's also sometimes the Nisayon HaChaim that a person is going through. Right now they're going through the Nisayon HaChaim. Ki Ovivimi Azavuni, Vashem Yasveini. It's now they don't have another thing. They don't have another thing. Now I don't have anything. People feel that I have no friends. I don't fit in anywhere. You ever heard that? I'm a nobody. I heard someone was repeating to me from he was saying his wife was saying, she was saying it's from pain. It was if she's nifta, who would know? Who would stop? I'm a nobody. Oh, give a name to that. Every has a problem to give friends and family and support groups. There's no problem. But Horaya, the Rebbeinu Shem gives it. But when the Rebbeinu Shem, by every person takes away something else, so they should try to lean, and they don't know what to lean on, so they have to lean on Hashem. What the Rebbeinu is developing by the person is, like we said, I could feel the Rebbeinu Shem Shefa, even if he doesn't give it to me in the Yesh type of form. So I'm going to climb, and I'm going to feel it by feeling the love of the Rebbeinu Shalom, by experiencing the Shaykhs. That's really what Shabbos is, and that's why Shabbos is Mein Olam Haba. Shabbos, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to... You can't do physical work. You can't be oisik in your tzarachim. So you have to disconnect from everything. So you have to connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shabbos, and the Rishonim say, the Loisa says don't do anything, but it's all about to get to the person, yes, to do what they're supposed to do on Shabbos. This could also explain that, and this is where it gets very important, there are many areas in Yiddishkeit, and actually most, when it comes to the real stuff in Yiddishkeit, and when it comes to the real avodah of a person, which is gray area. The simple mitzvahs in Yiddishkeit, like get up sukkahs in the morning, shakal lulav and esrog. That's good. That's simple. It has deep explanations, but it's clear cut, black and white. Get up, do that. Check. Taryag mitzvahs, there are a lot of mitzvahs that work like that. You put on tefillin, you do it. But when a person has to make decisions in life, it's not clear. And I'm not only talking about the decisions of shidduchim or medical decisions. I'm talking about decisions that have to do in the yesodis of avodah of a person. He's like, I'm trying to be good. It's not like I have now an issue and I have like a decision, that's a business decision, and I'm looking, maybe a tzaddik could tell me, or maybe who knows what. No, it's a business decision in my business of ruchnius. I don't know what's right. On the one hand, if I continue on the way I'm going, I won't steig. If I decide to do a move that's like a scary one, I might hurt people. So what should I do? Or so many different... If I have this yeshiva, this rebbe, or whatever that I was very close to, I think I have to move on. But I might hurt him. My rebbe told me, but Om Chaver is the most important dag. And Mitzat I can't. I feel I need something more, something different. Hundreds and thousands of such questions that a person has. And shidduchim also. It's ruchni a good decision. It's going to be good in this way. I should move. I shouldn't move. My husband should leave koilel. Shouldn't leave koilel. Everything on lustig. Every step in life, which is the real story of life, the emissary, where we face the real challenges, Many people say there's nobody to ask. But why does Hashem design this world that most of the decisions, which is like bringing the person to the emes, to the tachlis, nobody home. Open a chumash. If you have Ruach HaKodesh, good. But if you ended up not having Ruach HaKodesh, you're in bad shape. What was the plan? And it goes on and on the list. It's not only when it comes to decisions, it's the mix-up of the Eruv Toiv Bara, which is wherever you're going to touch, there's always going to be like something else that's almost the right thing, but it's not emes. One of the topics about tzadikei emes and tzadikei sheker. The people that they don't believe in anybody because they have a lot to say. They were exposed to what's going on. Everything is so corrupt from the inside, and they're not vulnerable. They know the truth. There's nothing going on. It's ikvus of the Mashiach. The lights are closed. It's done. We're waiting for Mashiach. Everything. Then you have other people that have tmimus and they believe. Don't ask. They have a story about everything, and then this moifus and that moifus. And it's very complicated because if you want to be a real emes and you have seichel and you have questions and good questions, and like what's going on, and then it's things that could shake up a person to the core. They trusted someone, they believed in someone, and then it wasn't pleasant at all what happened afterwards. There's so much mix-up, there's so much choshech that why did Rebbeinu Shalom make it so complicated? Maybe there's a better mahalach of someone like, could I put in a note ideas for Rebbeinu Shalom? Let's like move somewhere to a continent. There it's a black and white world. This is what you do, this is what you don't do. Very clear. Everything works like that. There's no decisions to make. I'll do everything. A person says, I promise I'll do Torah and mitzvahs. I'll try to be a good, I'll have Yitzhoras, I'll try, I'll work on myself. But why does everything have to be so gray area? That means in it and out of it, in the real life, there's a musik like Aveiro Lishmo, and then there's 1,000 machlokes, and if you're allowed to, if you're not allowed to, and everybody's sure that they're right. Right? This mahalach of this kehila feels that they have it right, and everybody else is epikosim. And the other kehila is looking at them and saying, like, what are they thinking? What's the point of setting up such a system? The Rebbeinu Shalom set up such a system. Not the Rebbeinu Shalom made everybody make their mistakes, but the Rebbeinu Shalom made it possible to have big mistakes. And the reason is because there's a danger when a person is sailing through smooth sailing of Torah mitzvahs. Okay, sometimes it wasn't the way it was supposed to, but like more or less, I'm a good Jew. I daven, I learn, do chesed, do a mitzvah, geschmack guy. It's the gefährliche Sache that could happen. The sakona, the danger of that is that the person is driven by trying to be successful. Being that he's in a society that's what's successful. He doesn't want to be chas v'shalom. He doesn't want to do something that's bad, and he also definitely doesn't want to be a dropout or whatever. So you could be going through life, mitzvahs, Torah, tons of gewaltige Sachen, but it's one gefährlich. You're not developing those feelings of desperate trust in the Rebbeinu Shalom that He should help you. Hashem is waiting for the person in every area in life to feel lost. Totally. There's no one to ask. Because whoever I'm going to ask, a lot of times a person has, sometimes technical, I don't know who to ask. Sometimes people feel that I know what everybody's going to say. This is his shita and this is the other guy's shita. So what's the point? I'm very clear that, now what do I do? What do I do right now? It's also a form of Avivimi Azavuni Vashem Yasfeini, and Hashem put the person's ruchnius in a turmoil. Hashem put a person's ruchnius if he's steiging, because if he's like this simple person, he might never reach the whole problem that we're talking everything is good. He has a Rav on WhatsApp, it's good, support. Everything, he's good. But every person understands that they have to develop, and they're trying to go weiter, and they have a suffix which is coming from such a good place in the heart. But they're upset, they're a little bit frustrated, because they're like, if I decided to really steig, and I decided that I want to do the right thing right now, I really want to do the right thing, so why does it have to be impossible to find it? Oh, beautiful. If you are frustrated about this nakuda, you're going down the right path. You're going down the right path because you're starting to feel like you don't, I don't know who should help me. I'm lost. Now, when you say Tillim, and you talk about the oivim of David, the enemies that are just trying to chap you, and you're trying to be successful, you chap what's going on. You're in a world that's full of problems, and you're trying to hold on to the Rebbeinu Shalom without a grip. Oh, a person could be a zikn of a seva at 30, and in that sense, the same exact as if you said a person that worked himself out in Gashmis, that they watch what they eat, and a person comes over to them and says, "What are you? 80 years old, and you're watching? Come on, it's a bar mitzvah. Have a good time. It's a kiddush. Enjoy yourself." And he's like, "No. I don't eat after 9 o'clock, and I have this little." He brought along some crackers that's like spelt and ich weiß was dort. Why? You're a young person. The answer is he doesn't want to get too connected, and he wants to take his life and he wants to have it set up. So he's having zikna v'seva at that age. He's doing it the same as also with the Yeshiva Das. Again, the experience a person has to slowly build, but he could disconnect in a sense that he feels lost. He's in the forest. If a person is going to try to reach Ruchnius at a real mahalach, there's no way out of this suffix. And there's no easy answer. It's not going to help. Even if he has a Rebbe and he goes, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. The reason why it's not going to help is very simple. I'll tell you why it's not going to help. Because there's no easy way out. Because if there is an easy way out, then we totally miss the point. We totally miss the point. People feel that if they could, they're saying like this, my mahalach is right because the world is so full of sheker. The world is so full of sheker that's why I'm staying with my shita and my Rebbe and my whatever, because I'm not going to leave this because the world is full of sheker. These people decided that they have windows and doors that nothing could come in. It's foolproof. That means here is the emes and the sheker is outside. So they're Baruch Hashem living the dream, and everybody that's outside, that's bemis, it's chaval. I could try to wave to him if I could be mitzvah him to come in, but I wouldn't dare go outside. The problem is the sheker and the emes are not split that way. It's split inside the person. It's in the mind. It's in the environment. It's all over the place. The way to find emes is only by tshuva to Rebbeinu Shalom. And you cannot rely on society. You can't rely on anybody for that emes. You can't. So a person's trying to do what's right. So he's telling the Rebbeinu Shalom, 1 second, should I open up a can of worms? I'm scared. So daven. Once again, don't say I'm going to close the window of Ruchnius because I'm so scared. The previous parsha in Chutzlot, 2 parshas that go Shlach, they were sent to Eretz Yisrael. Now the Meraglim were big people. They knew that they're supposed to. They had cheshbonis. What saved Kolev and Yeshua? What saved them? What saved them is tefillah. Because they davened to Kalev davened himself, and Yeshua davened because Yeshua davened for him, Moshe Rabbeinu davened for him, but they were on a very tight rope, very very tight rope. This Kalelam Kuloi Geshet Tarma Oid, it brings it out gewaldig. You have to be able to go that tightrope with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Hold on very very tight. So when a person understands this concept, the tachlis is to understand two nekudas. First of all, why you're going through what you're going through. In addition to that, there's a goal that you should be totally lost and not even have clarity. Only the Rebbeinu can give clarity to a person. And even if it's hurtful, even if it's painful, and even if it takes months, why are you going through this chevle leida? Why are you going through this? There's a point in not having clarity in Ruchnius. There's a point to it. The point is that you should have to reach out to the Rebbeinu without any grip that he should give it to you. You shouldn't be relying on your chokhmah. You shouldn't be relying. You have nothing but to rely on. You can't rely. You said not relying on a Rebbe. The Satmarov was once, the Olam was waiting to take a bracha. It was after Shabbos, after Yontiv, and it was late at night. It was 2 in the morning. And he was like dozing off, and everybody was waiting. So his Rebbetzin came in and told him, the Olam was waiting. They want to say goodbye. He says, well, what my plan is, he says, they should give up. And they should say this Rebbe, forget it with him, and they should just be forced to rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's a real Satmar of art, but the concept of it is that there is no leeway. Because if yes, what are you going to do in that world? You have to have tmimus, you have to have achnoah, but the sof is ein lishon el lavin shebashamayim. The same Mishnah in the end of Soita, which discusses Yoker Yame, everything's going to fall apart. Interest rates, anything, the inflation, there's nowhere to go. There's no mahalach. In the essence of the person, there's no mahalach. He feels, but then he comes and he relies on the Rebbeinu Shalom. This whole sugya that we're learning is really part of the Kloli is the mitzvah of Ach Hashem Lekechem Teleichu, which we discussed, that a person develops what the Rebbeinu Shalom likes to do. The midas of the Rebbeinu Shalom, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes. A person in this world was trained to slowly become such a type of person, because that's what they're going to be doing for the rest of eternity, for Nitzchias and Olam Haba. That's what they're going to be doing. So they have to develop those kind of feelings. Torah and mitzvahs is the beginning of it. Is the grip. Is something that's letting you start the journey. But the deeper feelings, which sometimes come out when there's a crisis, that's the emes tachlis. That's the real tachlis. Why Torah and mitzvahs was given. That's why a person should embrace every challenge and give it a name. Give it a name. If they see themselves that sometimes it's like a medical situation, especially if it's something like people find out there's in the genes. Shem Yirach was like everything falls apart. Mamish. It's like breathe in and say, wow, I just experienced right now that everything fell apart. Baruch Hashem. I think I once felt what I'm going to feel, and I could only rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom and on nothing. There's no one in the world that could help this matzif. I don't know. Ich weiß nicht, was geht sein. Then it's true bitochen, because you're relying, and you can't even see the picture. You can't even be medamian. You have nothing, but you're still relying. Just in order that a person should understand that this is the chizik and not the opposite, a person has to chap that true bitochen, that's the bitochen that feels the best. That story that we said, maybe we mentioned it again, but we mentioned it 4 years ago in your yeshiva in the summer, of the Yid Rav Bornstein, I think his name was. Oh, you just wrote it, and that he was in the he was at the war, and then he had to leave. He had a business, he has a family, he had a house, and he had to leave everything behind because when the Second World War started, and he came and they let him take one suitcase with him. They let him take one suitcase, and then when he came to the concentration camps or whatever, they told him he has to go with that suitcase as well. So he left his house behind. Then he left the suitcase behind. Then they took the family away from him, and then they took him and they told him to undress, no clothing, and he was there. He had nothing, zero. And he told that Rasha that was standing in front of him, he said, I'm much more happier and more successful than you, because I have the Rebbeinu. You can't take away the Rebbeinu from me. You can take away my clothing, you can take away my possessions, you can't take away the Rebbeinu. And he said it with such a simcha, and that Rasha was so upset. He survived. He came to Yisrael. He built a family, a business. He started learning. He was very matzliach. He said he never once again experienced the tainug that he had that half an hour that when he was standing, he had nothing. He said he still looks back and wishes he could once again feel what he felt then. Because when a person is relying on the Rebbeinu Shalom legamri, and it's for real, it's for real, then they feel Elam Haba. They feel Elam Haba. If they feel Elam Haba, they're ready for Elam Haba. Because that is what Elam Haba is going to be like. A Tam Elam Haba is the biggest feeling. He never felt again a Tam Elam Haba in this world. Because the Mesilas Yesharim says it's not easy to feel a Tam Elam Haba in this world. You connect, you're stuck with Levushim, with so many things. This is the concept of everybody's life story. So it's negaya, a person shouldn't connect to always the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's v'ahavta. That's the idea of Shema Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I know that everything belongs to the Rebbeinu Shalom. My tainug I take from relying on the Rebbeinu Shalom. When something gets taken away from me, whoop, he lost his job. They lost opportunity. They were looking at that house, and then whoop, someone took it. All these type of situations where a person feels that they were losing. When you lose grip, you're gaining grip. You're losing grip on Olam Hazeh, and Chochmah gets nisrabe. As a direct result, Chochmah and Das, you could realize the toy from the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm just finishing off the Rashi in Masechtas Brachos, which says in Daf Samach Gimel that a person should get used to thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom this world, because that's all we do in that world. The singing in such a matziv, and the connecting in such a matziv, and thanking in such a matziv, is about trying to imagine that you're in Olam Haba and you're doing the avodah of malachim. Never take down the darga of the thank you Hashem to this world as it's a tactic how to work, how to be successful here. Close your eyes when you have a disappointment and imagine yourself right now. I'm having a taste of Olam Haba, that there isn't anything, and I'm singing Shir V'Sishbachas. I'm harmonizing for the Malachim. That is the mahalach of danken on this world, because you're getting used to the shira that we're going to say V'Olam Haba.